Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Elena Kulinskaya, a professor of statistics at the University of East Anglia. Thank you for joining us, Elena.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Fred.
What we're talking about is an app that's been developed there that you're making available that predicts how much longer we've got, I think is a good way to put it. Tell us about this.
Well, this is a little bit not quite right. Basically, what we predict is your average life expectancy given a particular set of health and lifestyle characteristics. And I emphasize the word average. So if we have many people with this particular risk profile, on average, they would live that long, but you in particular may live much longer or much shorter, perhaps, depending on your further lifestyle and health, lifestyle choices and health events. For instance, you might stop smoking and change your life expectancy dramatically.
So it's telling you based on what your lifestyle choices are now and your physical
Yes,
and your physical
health now,
condition.
exactly, yes.
So tell us the types of questions that will be in the app, which is available right away, or when is it available to people, and on what platforms?
It is available straight away on mylongevity.org. And we are taking into account the following factors. First of all, it's sex, it's deprivation level of the area where you live, over 5 different levels, from very deprived to very prosperous. And then we've got some medical characteristics such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, your BMI category, which means body mass index, how chunky or obese or not you are, your cardiac risk, which we calculate ourselves, and also the use of statins. Did I mention smoking? Yes.
I assume that would be a factor. And
Yeah.
so how long does it take to go through this, to go through the questions typically? Just a few minutes?
A couple of minutes, I would say, yes.
And this was developed along with one of the students there as well?
Well, how it happened is that about 5 years ago, we obtained funding from the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries to look at how various health factors affect life expectancy. And we are working in this project with a very large database of primary care data called SIN. And in the result of our various analyses in that project, we came up with this app. And we have a moderately sized team. We have 3 PhD students and 2 postdocs who played a big role in this project. The names of the postdocs are Ilyas Bagberginuli and Lizan Gitzels, and a PhD student in our School of Computing Sciences who developed the app is called George Ostler.
In addition to a person's weight, for instance, are you also asking about the kinds of foods and such that they eat and drinking habits?
No, we don't. And this is because the primary care data which we were dealing with didn't have information on the diet or exercise, even though we understand that those are quite important factors for longevity. So this is kind of averaged out, I suppose.
I guess you can assume certain things from the weight of a person and other lifestyle choices.
Actually, I think that maybe we did put a question on alcohol intake in, but it's not in the app. We have some information on that.
So tell us about the accuracy of this. You're going to tell me on average how long a person who is like me, based on my answers, would live.
Yes, I think that how it works is that we followed up 110,000 people who actually were born between 1930 and 1940. And we followed them up until now, until 2017. We looked at various risk factors and how they affect their life expectancy, but we also looked at the incidence of various health conditions and lifestyle choices. And then we basically used all this information to develop those forecasts. So if we have some populated risk profiles, which there were quite a few, then we have pretty precise answer. Some of those risk profiles were not well populated, and they had, say, just very untypical combination of factors, say, with 5 people in. So, of course, I won't believe that those are very robust. But for vast majority, we believe that it's pretty precise.
Very interesting. Now, of course, the pandemic has changed the way we live in many areas of the world today. I guess, are you taking into account, are you asking things like whether people wear masks or avoid crowds, things like that, or is that not part of this?
No. To be sincere, all this was done before this pandemic started, so we really don't have the data factoring in at all. We are currently started thinking about how we could add this, but it's pretty complicated, I think, because some things are pretty straightforward, like we probably could look at the incidence of COVID and the outcomes of COVID based on the health profiles. This is available, but what we really don't know at this stage is the long-term consequences. Suppose you had COVID 10 years ago, how does that affect your life expectancy? No one knows until the next 30 years, I suppose.
If memory serves, there have been some apps in the past that purported to tell you life expectancy, things like that. How is this different? How is your approach differing from maybe things that have been out before?
Well, basically, I think that there were quite a few apps which used kind of separate findings from various papers and pulled them together. What we do, we analyze the data ourselves, so we take into account all possible interactions of various factors, and we also, as I mentioned, take into account the incidence from the same data. So I think this is probably more precise.
Very interesting. The website, once again, is mylongevity.org. Elena Kulinskaya, yes. Thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C-Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world. Listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C-Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C-Crane.